I see them live. Got it. Okay. Welcome back, everybody, to the final year of the four-year term of what has been the weirdest term in my recollection, and I'm really old, so that means it's really weird. Let me begin by saying that it's a great honor for me, as always, to be the chair of one of the hardest working and most effective committees in the Maryland General Assembly, if not the most. And I'd like to begin by welcoming two new members to our committee. We have Delegate Roxanne Prettyman, who represents Baltimore City's 44A district. This is the district that had been occupied by Keith Haynes, who retired from the legislature. Unfortunately, she can't be with us today because she has a family funeral, and I offered my condolences on behalf of myself and the committee, and we look forward to seeing her soon, next week, when we have public hearings on Tuesday, I believe. And also we have joining us Delegate Linda Foley, who is from District 15, same district as DFH. She replaces now Judge Kathleen Dumais. So we're happy to have you on board, and I think you'll find this is a really terrific committee to start your legislative career on. Everybody gets a lot of great work done and has a lot of fun in the process. So welcome aboard, Linda. Look forward to working with you. Let me start by introducing again the members of our staff, and they are Trish Gagnon is coming back, as she wrote assistant to the chairman, but really she's the chief of staff to the committee. So she's in charge of the whole committee. So to the new member, don't annoy her. But she's very hard to annoy, though, in my experience. Also, front desk reception, we have Kathy Markey, who is, there she is. Kathy Markey is at the front desk. She's the first line of defense against annoying people. And I have every reason to believe she'll do a fantastic job. She's a really nice person, and you'll really enjoy working with her. Coming back to the committee after his hiatus in Japan is Ben Jabin, who is the assistant Zoom hearing host and committee clerk. Ben is will be the tallest member of our team at 7'8". Also coming back again, he's not 7'8". It's 7'4", something like that.
6'8".
Yeah. Committee Secretary Mary Phillip is back, and it's great to have her in the office so that she can do all of our, keep track of all our stuff and do all of our floor hearing books, which Trish and the gang did, as well as they did a terrific job, but it's so much better when Mary does it. So Mary, we're happy you're here. And as always, we have our fantastic committee council, Kristen Flynn, Patrick Tracy, and Matt Mickler. And they've got the same subject matter as in previous years. I've said it before, and I will say it again, letting Ampry in. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. They are the ones who really all these staff people make us look good. They are especially essential in critical in making us all look good on the floor of the House and through our careers. And personally, of course, Kathy Dunn continues as my legislative aide and press person. She's really glad to have her as always. And Dana, do you want to cut in and just introduce your folks?
Sure, thank you. My wonderful legislative director, Margie Brazel, is back, and also want to introduce two interns from UMBC, Alana Cook and Emma Johnson, who are joining us for the session. So welcome to Alana and Emma.
Right, Alana and Emma, welcome here. And I'm going to have a shadow intern type guy later in the session, and I'll introduce him then. So, okay, so let me just go through very quickly what our procedures are with respect to hearings. Zoom links are auto-generated and sent to your House email addresses the day prior. That's that's just as last year. Attendance, cameras must be on. You have to keep your cameras on. And this is a directive that comes right down from the Speaker of the House. So if you have a problem with that, take it up with her. But I doubt that you will. It was not a problem last year.
You're muted.
I guess my sleeve hit the little bar there or something. In any case, witness sign up. They must have an MGA account and sign up 48 hours before the hearing date. And that time window is between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. The bill order 24 hours is going to be determined at some point before the bill hearing date. As a general rule, I'm going to take the policy of doing bills in numerical order with only one exception. For example, today, the first bill numerically is Mary Lehman's bill, House Bill 16, but then she had another bill today. So I'll take her two bills back to back, and then we'll just go through in numerical order. And also, for example, Delegate Holmes has House Bill 107 and 140. So I'll take his two bills back to back. And that's the way we're going to do it. Ordinarily, I'm pretty, in the past, before we did Zooms, I was pretty good about accommodating sponsors as to their needs of going early or late. But since this is Zoom, I'm really going to try and stick to the numerical order of the bills as much as possible. I think that's the way they'll be posted on the General Assembly website, and Trish and I will try and work out the arrangements of grouping delegates together if they have more than one bill in the same public hearing. And here's one that is ordinarily not a problem for us. It's a problem for committees like the Judiciary Committee, and that is that there will be no more than 50 witnesses per bill. That's typically not a problem for us. Judiciary, on the other hand, when they have gun control day, 50 is usually a low estimate. The bill hearings are going to start at 1 p.m., which means for those of you who are new to the legislature, well, you who are new to the legislature, Linda, typically what would happen is we'd be on the floor of the House at 10 a.m. We'd get done in time to have lunch and then start public hearings at 1 p.m. That's why 1 p.m. is the date that we typically do. Subcommittee virtual meetings, same sort of rules there. They're hosted by the subcommittee chairs or their legislative assistants. Leadership meetings, our leadership group continues to be the chairs of the subcommittees, plus Jay Jacobs, who is there as the representative for the minority party. And we're going to have virtual voting sessions, and this also is by directive of the Speaker of the House. It worked fine last year, and I expect it to continue to work fine this year as well. Now, apparently, we have to modify our committee rules, and I'm going to do a vote right now. The point of this is that typically, before COVID, we would vote on bills, and the rules of the House required us to move bills to transmit those bills to the chief clerk within 3 days, I believe, 3 legislative days. But obviously, given the fact that we're not going to be meeting for quite some time, I've been asked by the Speaker's office to have us alter our rules. So let me just read verbatim what this is. I'm just going to read what Trish wrote on here. I think that let me just read it. Because our committee will have routine vote sessions, but not convene back to the House floor for several weeks, a majority vote is needed to allow the ENT committee to vote on bills and not be required to send those bills to the clerk of the House within 3 legislative days of the committee vote. Do I hear a motion favorable for that?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All right. Unmute yourselves and we'll just do a voice vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The rules have been changed to the committee. So we will start to move things as quickly as we can. Let me just tell you a few things about this year. It's the 4th year and a 4-year term. And obviously there are a number of bills that have been languishing for several years in the in the Senate, and one of them, actually the first bill we're hearing this day in public hearings, is the leaving dogs out in extreme weather bill. I think it's been not voted on by the Judicial Proceedings Committee in the Senate 2 years in a row. My goal for all of you for bills that have languished in the Senate in that fashion is to have you drop them as quickly as possible. We're going to move them as fast as we possibly can over to the Senate. And one of my top priorities is going to be to see to it that your bills get passed and get a vote in the Senate, which Linda, you will discover, and something that we all know, and that is that the Senate can be very slow in acting. So we're going to try and move these bills as quickly as possible so that we can have a positive outcome for all of us. Let me also say that it's the fourth year, and as you may know, unless a bill is put on the governor's desk by day 80, if he vetoes it, the governor has 10 days to sign or veto a bill if we put a bill on his desk in the during the legislative session. So for those bills that are very important, we're going to try and move them as quickly as possible, because if a bill is vetoed after we adjourn sine die, then constitutionally we cannot take up a veto override procedure until the next legislature is, well, actually, we can't ever do it. It's a dead bill until the very next legislature that's sworn in. So that's a rule, procedural change that we all have to be familiar with. And I see Kathy's here. So again, Kathy, thanks for being on board with us here. So that's really all I have for organizational matters. I've published a list of these altered subcommittee membership. We lost Andrea Harrison to the Economic Matters Committee. We all wish her well. She was a fantastic delegate for our committee, and I'm going to miss her. But in any case, we've got new subcommittees, and to all of you, obviously, we're going to have an election, and hopefully all of you get reelected. I'm certainly, with the exception of Brooke Learman, who I hope gets elected controller of the state of Maryland. But for all of you who are coming back and not cruelly abandoning us as Brooke is, obviously I'm kind of arrogantly assuming here that I'm going to win my reelection, and that Dana is as well. Dana and I will have to reconstitute the subcommittees. Of course, we will show that to Jay Jacobs, so that, as in the past, the Republican Party is always consulted in the way that we compose these subcommittee memberships. So we're going to everything. If you don't like your subcommittee assignment now, just get reelected, hang on, and it's all going to be redone next year anyway. So with that, I have nothing else except to say again, I'm really honored to be the chair of the best committee in the Maryland House of Delegates and in the entire General Assembly. And my door is always open to you. And I really hope that we'll continue to have the fantastic relationship politically and interpersonally that we've had for the 7 years prior as my being chairman of this committee. So Mary, you've got your hand up.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and happy second day, everybody. Quick question, I guess, for Trish and the staff. Were there any issues? I know I have 2 bills up today. Any issues or any advice about uploading testimony? Any problems for, I should say, day before yesterday for today's hearing? Anything we should know?
Can I speak, Chairman?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So I would have your witnesses check quickly on the witness guidelines under our committee. For the most part, all the committees are the same, but the witness guidelines are really detailed this year because some people have problems with their browsers. So I suggested some browsers they should try to use when they're doing the My MGA accounts. And as sponsors, you all have to have a My MGA account also. So whether your aide establishes it or you do it personally, however you do it, So the bills have to have an IMGA account also. And then the browser suggestions are to, depending on whether you have a Dell or an Apple or whatever, and those are all in there. And it's 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Otherwise, they can't get in without calling us to submit testimony. And, we do the best we can to get late testimony submitted, but sometimes it piles up and we have to put it in a folder and do it later. So we just do the best we can.
And real quick follow-up, are there going to be any special instructions for screen sharing? Do you want to know, keep that to a minimum with our witnesses, and you want to know who those people are if they do have a slide or two they want to share?
Yeah, so it's up to Delegate Chairman Barvet if he will allow it. And if he does, then we have to contact me and we have to look at the content first so that we can just see what people are sharing. And I can allow sharing screens during all hearings.
Okay, thank you. Thank you,
Right.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, absolutely, Mary. Actually, that was a procedure in the last 2 years. It's worked pretty well. And we, obviously I had one delegate who asked to play by the way, I forgot to mention that witness testimony is limited to 2 minutes as it was last year. And I, as a general rule, my philosophy is to limit the amount of testimony, but not to limit the question and answer, because personally, I feel that the most information is drawn out for the committee in questions and answers. So I'm going to continue to be pretty fanatical about the 2-minute limit with respect to witness testimony, but I'm going to be, as I usually try to be, pretty generous about questions and answers. I would ask for you to make your questions as succinct and pithy as you possibly can. No speeches, just ask the question. So basically one person actually had asked if they could share a video, and the video was like 20 minutes. And I said, no, you can't play a 20-minute video. So, I would hope that everybody should exercise some discretion. By the way, that 2 minutes is also for sponsors. So, in the past, we would have the principle of allowing elected officials to talk for as long as they wanted to. And there were some sponsors who definitely took advantage of that. Well, in the era of COVID, it's 2 minutes for everybody, but questions and answers, I'll be very generous with. Marvin, you have your hand up.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On the list of persons to testify for each bill, in the last column on the right, it is entitled selected. What does selected mean?
Really?
That's nothing for you to be worried about. It's probably printing out from our CIS system. We selected them to be printed.
Okay, thank you. I'm just curious. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
But I'll have Ben look at that.
Okay. All right. Any other questions, thoughts, or rant?
I just have 2 quick things.
Okay.
I
Go
sent
ahead.
out the subcommittee list, and I'm going to have to send an updated one because I left Delegate Harrison on one of the subcommittees. So I'll send another update today. And then just for your information, Chairman, everybody in your committee was here today at this meeting, with the exception of Delegate Prettyman, who was excused.
Okay.
And staff was also.
Yeah. Dana, do you have any thoughts you'd like to share with the committee, or?
No, just excited to be back and looking forward to the session. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, great. Any other thoughts before I consider this organizational meeting adjourned? All righty then. In that case, I will see you at 1 o'clock for our first public hearing. So grab some lunch and take a nap or whatever you do, and see you right at 1 o'clock. Take care, everybody. Happy to be with you again.